Hello, my flat earthers, my globe earthers, my concavers, my convexers, my hollow earthers, and everything else in between. Hope you're all doing great on this really sunny day. Today's video is inspired by a guy named Olly, and the story goes something like this. So, I was on my way to a place called Hull. Hull. It's pronounced Ull in those parts. I was there for a wedding, and one of the guys on my table was called Olly. And so we started to get talking, and started getting onto conspiracies and what his life's about and what my life's about, and we were sort of comparing and contrasting how I'm sort of outside the matrix looking in, and he's inside the matrix looking out. It was an interesting perspective, just because he's very career-driven. It was just a very interesting perspective. So, at one point, he kind of asked me where I was going with it all, or what the point was, and he was sort of getting to the, what's it all about kind of thing. And so I told him, basically the part I'm going to tell you next is probably going to make you walk away. It's probably going to make you get up and get out of your chair and just, oh, this Dylan guy, I just can't be doing with him. So, so I basically said to him, you're going to want to walk away, but basically I know the earth is flat, and that's what I'm focusing on, spreading that truth. And his reaction was completely not what I thought it would be. He didn't walk away. He didn't even laugh, which I found very surprising. He just sort of sat there and just waited. And so I started, when there's a willing audience, that's dangerous for me, because then I just start talking. So, I start talking to him about how the sun's clearly not 93 million miles away, how the moonlight is its own luminary, it's its own cooling light, it has its own cooling light, it's clearly not reflected sunlight. Started speaking to him about curvature and the Michelson-Morley and all the Bedford level and all the experiments and scientific observations and the logical reasoning, and one by one we go through them all, and eventually he just kind of sits there, takes a minute, and then says, I can't really argue with you because I've not looked into it, but the only thing I'm really getting hung up on is the images. And that's sort of where we left it. And that's sort of a great place to leave it, because when it's hanging by that thin of a thread, and we all know that thread doesn't even exist. I mean, once you start pulling at that thread, there's no thread there at all. The whole thing just falls apart. And I just thought that was it was very profound, because he went at it from pretty much every angle, and what he was left with was some imagery. And that's kind of what we're all left with once we do the research. And so I want to thank Olly for his very reasonable reaction, his very measured reaction, and not laughing, and just, taking it seriously. And not only that, but I want to thank Olly for sort of reigniting my my faith in humanity. When you're looking at this stuff day in, day out, and you're being called an idiot day in, day out, and insane day in, day out, and even by some people you love, it can become very difficult. It can become hard to have that faith in people, and to keep putting your leg out there, and keep putting yourself out there, and keep spreading the truth, even if all you're met with is resistance and ridicule. So yeah, thanks a lot, Olly. I hope you look into flat earth, and I hope the conversation sort of leads you to take an interest in it. And yeah, if you guys have ever had a real life conversation with a non-flat earther, I'd love to hear how it went, what their reaction was. Peace out, guys.